The causes of the Chinese Civil War in 1927 to 1937 were rooted deep down in the final years of the Qing dynasty, which included the horrible social conditions of the peasantry and the extremities of warlord control. The leadership of Cixi, emperor of the Qing dynasty, was further undermined by the Boxer Rebellion of 1899. This nationalistic uprising, which demanded the expulsion of foreign powers in China, undermines the support of the dynasty, as the emperor takes the help of foreign troops to crush the rebellion. The Qing dynasty, the last of the ruling Chinese dynasties, collapsed in the 1911 revolution, which left China under political instability under the controls of warlords in the warlord era. Landlords were the curse of the peasants. They took large parts of peasant crops as rents, and then government officials took much of the remainder as taxes. Landlords acted above the law. They took peasant women as they pleased, forced the peasantry to do extra duties, and should any peasant question the landlord's directives, had the right to severely beat the culprits. Under warlord control, the life of the peasants was dreadful. Farming methods were traditional and outdated. Peasant land was in small units and thus unsuitable for modern machines. Farming was harsh and unremitting. With luck, a peasant could grow enough crops to feed his family and keep hunger at bay, and hopefully to pay his taxes. In addition to the burdens imposed by both landlords and the government came natural disasters. Flooding or drought often led to widespread famine. As a result, most peasants did not live much beyond 40 years of age. The 1911–1912 revolution marks the beginning of modern China. It marks the rejection of imperialistic traditions and a desire to see a strong, modern, and independent China. The success of the 1911–1912 revolution gave hopes that China would turn into a true democracy. A national assembly was established in Nanjing, aiming to establish a new political constitution to replace the imperialistic system, one which would have the consent of the Chinese people. Sun Yat-sen reformed and created the new political party called Kuomintang, known as the Nationalists, but Yuan Shikai, who wished to revive the Chinese monarchy, opposed this. In addition to the social conditions caused by colonialism and warlordism, as well as a difference in political ideology, increasing pressure from neighboring nations Japan and Russia worsened the situation. By 1900, Japan had become a modern industrial power, trading with the USA and modernizing the country's industries and agricultures. China's rulers, however, felt that the Westerners were barbarians from whom nothing could be learned. As a result, China's position weakened, and she fell farther under the domination of foreign powers. The death of Sun Yat-sen led to the rise of his brother-in-law, Chiang Kai-shek, who opposed Sun Yat-sen's appeasement of the Communist Party of China. Chiang Kai-shek ordered a violent suppression of the Chinese Communist Party in Shanghai by the military forces of the Kuomintang, known as the Shanghai Massacre of 1927. The aftermath of the massacre included the declaration of Chiang as a traitor to Sun Yat-sen. Kuomintang troops outside of Shanghai also began to violently suppress communists and suspected communists in other areas of China. In return, the Chinese Communist Party planned for worker uprisings and revolutionaries in the urban areas, with the armed communist revolutionaries in Changsha,